we came up with a concept. It's called the Pursuing Purpose program. It's an alternative to prison, where there's two ways we can do it. One way is a young person gets convicted of a crime they actually did, and now the judge determines if they should send them to juvenile prison, juvie, or if they send them to our program, which is a 9-week program that we're planning to launch next year. I'm about to get into it. So I started forming what this is and pulled in the team and galvanized social workers and formerly incarcerated individuals who have turned their own lives around. And everyone was complaining, the ones who came out of prison. I didn't have something like this when I was younger. And to me, this provides the energy, right, for this whole movement, this platform to move forward with impact. Because we know that, and I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of the different meetings that the new Mayor Eric Adams, has been setting up throughout the city, and there's tears in the politicians' eyes, man. They know they're only in power for a certain period of time, and they feel powerless. Because the truth of the matter is, and this brings me back to my original point, we as citizens, we as community leaders, and also people who just live in the community, we have to take it upon our backs now. Like, we have to recreate the village, right? The village that everyone has been speaking about in the past. It takes a village to raise the child. We need to get back to that. And we have this other philosophy under the Pursuing Purpose program, and this is really prevalent in a lot of hip hop. That's in music. The philosophy that you are a brand. The top rappers started bragging about, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, Like, and what Jay-Z was basically saying is that I'm a brand, me, myself, I am Nike, and our philosophy is, if we can get the young people to see themselves as a brand, then you'll start making decisions to support your brand, to cultivate your brand, to protect your brand. Think about it, right? If and this has to do with branding, because I do branding. When you are a brand and you're stating a certain thing out into the world, right? The world believes you when you say it. That's you controlling the narrative of your brand. But when you start transgressing against your brand, and what I mean is, we are the on-time service dry cleaners, right? They don't show up ever on time to your house. You never get your suit for the job interview. You're done. You never get a job because of them, right? They start transgressing against their brand, and now you give the world access to what should be the narrative that you should be controlling. Now, guess who controls it? All the disgruntled people and customers out there. So now you have to spend, let's call it, waste thousands of dollars to repair the name of your brand. You gotta rebrand right now, right? So if you think about your life, I'm talking to the young people right now out there, if you think about your life as you are a brand, well, what decisions are you going to make? Are you going to start scamming? Yeah, you know what happens when you go scamming? You end up in federal prison. And we all know what happens in federal prison, people, right? So it's about protecting yourself, protecting your future, finding your purpose. Because think about it. If you know your purpose in life, you'll start being laser focused. You're not going to be scatterbrained, wilding out, and YOLO, right? You only live once. That term right there, YOLO, you only live once. Think about how many young people feel that way. They go out there, they do something super crazy, now they're in prison for the rest of their lives. Right. Or at least 20 years. 20 years is a huge chunk. So I just want to bring it to this event that I'm doing. It's called CraftPalooza. We're producing this event at the Tillery Hotel, downtown Brooklyn. I don't know any Brooklynites, New Yorkers out there, but it's called CraftPalooza. And this is a creative platform that we're launching this year, October 22nd, from 4 to 11, so young people can come and see how their creativity, how the arts and their talent can be displayed. We also teach them how to cultivate their talent, and also, very importantly, how to monetize their creativity. I did a deal with the lowlives. Let me tell you who the lowlives are. Does anyone out there know who the low lives are? Racklow, Thurston Howe, Pranslow. Those are my guys. Everyone knows Polo Ralph Lauren is a multi-billion-dollar company. Everyone knows the price points. But guess what? During the 80s, the 90s, and 2000s, all the young people in the hood were wearing Polo Ralph Lauren from head to toe. Do you know why? Because these guys that I'm doing business with right now, they used to do what you call smash and grab. The dudes who were doing the smash and grab made Polo Ralph Lauren hot in the hood, because the general consensus was that Polo Ralph Lauren is dope clothing, but they presented corny in the ads. So what hood dude want to rock that? But they had a better way to rock it, and they became the curators and stylists of the hood through the clothing brand of Polo Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren reached out to them, actually did a real media campaign, and also launched a collection with the guys that made them hot back in the 80s and 90s. So what I'm doing with CraftPalooza, I'm doing an art exhibit. We have over 30 street artists, the top street artists in New York City. If you go to New York City, you go around the different blocks, you'll see huge murals of amazing creative expressions of craft and art. Like, these guys will all be at the show, as well as the low lives will be curating a fashion show. Now, this is the most important thing. This is the caveat, right? We're taking you through the 4 seasons of life. This is a shameless plug for my mother. She wrote a book called, what is it?
The Seasons of
Our
Lives.
The Seasons of Our Lives. The fashion show is going to take you through the 4 seasons of your life as a young person. See, a lot of young people get caught up in the first season, right? It's their first time. They're open to the world. They see the big bright world. They see the clothing. They see, for the guys, they see the girls. The girls see the guys. They're watching music videos. They're this and that. They get caught up in the glitz and glamour of life, and they may not have the money. So now they're trying to scramble to figure out, how do I get what I see on the screen? How do I get the girl? How do I get the guy? And they start doing crazy things like scamming. Who are they scamming? The middle class and the poor. We're the ones getting scammed by our own kids. Right. It's crazy, right? So we want to show the young person. These are the 4 phases. The first phase is Polo Ralph Lauren streetwear, right? You start out in the streets. The next phase, Polo Ralph Lauren collegiate wear. You go to college. You get a higher education, right? The third phase is Polo Ralph Lauren corporate. You get a job. Right? You go in there, you make some money, you learn, and then you get to a point where you become a master. The final phase is the 4th phase, right? That is the entrepreneurial success, right? You've mastered your craft. You're now about to go into retirement. You got your yacht, you got your Benz, this and that. We want to show young people, don't die at phase 1.
Right.
A lot of our youth are dying at 16. Or killing people and going to prison.
Going to prison. Don't go to prison in phase 1.
Because there's many ways you could lose your life.
Right.
But guess what? If you find or discover your purpose on this earth, you can save your life. And let's not forget, let's not turn a blind eye to the fact that all of us are spiritual beings. The same way you're supposed to eat, not to feed your belly, but to feed your cells, is the same way you're supposed to feed your spirit. What do you feed your spirit with? The Word of God. Right? So we're using craft and arts and creativity to bring the young people, galvanize them to one central location, so we can teach them that you're not just a physical person. You have to feed your spirit. Through your spirit, which communicates with God directly through prayer and worship, through your spirit is how you should be making your decisions. You're not supposed to be out there being reactive. Someone yells at you, you react. No, that's not the proper way to live. Someone yells at you, you take it in, you think about it, maybe even go home, take a few days, and then you figure out how to respond in a proper manner where you won't beat no one up, you won't get beat up, and you won't get caught up in the system.